The High Court in Cape Town has postponed judgment on alleged Parliament arsonist Zandile Mafe's fitness to stand trial. Mafe appeared before the High Court in Cape Town this morning following his extended psychiatric evaluation. He faces several charges, including arson, terrorism and theft. Our reporter Mariska Botha is following the story for us, joins us now from the Cape High Court in Cape Town. Mariska, let's just unpack what came out of today's proceedings. It all sounded very procedural, and if you could just also outline the concerns that were mentioned by the defense.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. It was very much procedural this morning. Mr. Mafe spent 30 days at the Fort England Clinic in the Eastern Cape because as you might remember earlier, he refused to be sent to Valkenberg for psychiatric observation because he spent a short amount of time there, and according to him, he didn't receive the treatment that was correct, according to him. So the court granted that he be taken to a different facility, which was then in the Eastern Cape, where he spent a month. Now, on the 24th of May, Judge Nathan Erasmus received a report from the medical experts of Fort England electronically. He had access to the report, and today he ordered in court that no content of the psychiatric report be disclosed at this point in time. And he did that because his defense team, which includes Advocate Zandile Mafe, time to consult with their client while he was hospitalized in the Eastern Cape, and also not this morning when he was brought to court. So they will be basically given a month to consult with their client, and under Section 77 of the Criminal Procedures Act, it says that a client may choose to dispute the findings of a report of this nature, and that is what the court ruled today, to give them a chance to properly consult with their client. They might even bring on their own medical experts to speak to the psychiatric report, and then may decide to dispute what the findings are. But the judge also ordered, which is different from the previous time when he was held in custody in Pollsmoor, that he be moved to the medical wing of the Pollsmoor Prison Correctional Facilities, and then of course that medical report, the psychiatric report, will then be sent to the medical personnel of Pollsmoor as well, if indeed Mr. Mafe would need assistance given the findings of that report.
And I was just curious, Mariska, was there any clarity on what the judge meant when he said he received a prima facie case on why he came out with this decision that Mafe stay at the hospital side of Pollsmoor Prison?
Now, that's exactly the point that he made very, very clear, that we cannot disclose, and it wasn't even disclosed in court at this point in time, because there's an order that the content of that psychiatric report not be disclosed at this point, because it speaks to Mr. Mafe's medical condition. And the prima facie evidence he refers to is, of course, the psychiatric report, which the state has indicated it is not disputing at all. And that's the reason why he also postponed for 30 days, so that Mr. Mafe's legal team can properly go through that report properly with their client and then decide what to do. So it speaks to the medical nature of Mr. Mafe's condition, and that's why I said there's prima facie evidence, because of the psychiatric report that was compiled at Fort England Hospital by medical experts.
Perhaps just a quick recap to remind our viewers, Mariska, where this comes from. I mean, it's been quite a while since even May last year, Mafe was sent to the Valkenberg Hospital facility in Cape Town. I think he refused to go back there again. What led to him having to get psychiatric observation, and how that relates to this trial?
Well, right at the beginning, the state, of course, requested that Mr. Mafe be sent for observation, psychiatric observation. And then, of course, there was a lengthy court hearing in the lower courts, in the magistrates' court, by the defense team, saying that there's absolutely nothing wrong with Mr. Mafe. He need not be taken for 30 days observation. Now, that stance has changed since May last year, and they indeed said that they think it would be best if Mr. Mafe is sent for psychiatric evaluation for 30 days. before in court that Mr. Mafe has displayed some odd behavior. One day he arrived at court in his pajamas and he refused to come up to the docks. At another appearance, he made all kinds of demands to stay in prison, including he wanted a kettle, for example. And those are the kind of things that are not allowed in prison, or personal privileges that are allowed when you are in the custody of correctional facilities. So his defense team ultimately decided it might be best for him to be sent for that observation, and that is exactly now what has happened.
And just also for some context why he finds himself in this position, this is a man who, as you reported, has spent time either on and off the street, who had lost his job after moving from the Northwest Province. He clearly, from the court appearances, does not have any filial or support base that is there supporting him.
Well, not in court. We've not seen anybody that's physically, family or friends. We've not seen any such persons in court supporting him. And of course, he asked that the proceedings be translated for him into Setswana. So there is a Setswana translator in court. So as to Mr. Mafe's friends and or family, we've seen none of that in court. He is represented by Luvuyo Godla as his lawyer, and then Zandile Mafe as the senior advocate in this matter. And those are basically the people we've seen at every court appearance. But when it comes to friends and family, we've not seen anyone attend Mr. Mafe's appearances thus far.
Of course, I say this because all the visuals we've seen of him, he cuts a very lonely figure, and as you say, he has been characterized as exhibiting odd behavior in court. Wrapping up the day's proceedings for us at the Cape High Court regarding Zandile Mafe's court appearance, my colleague Mariska Botha.